morning, good day, everybody. My name is Jason Stella, as you know, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Training Podcast. And I have the wonderful Miss Lisa Doherty with us today of the MedFit Network and the MedFit organization. And we are super excited to have her really take a different spin around how people are being educated in the profession and the problems with the industry that she's found solutions for. So welcome, Lisa.
Thanks, Jason, for inviting me. I'm very excited to be on Lifetime's podcast.
Thank you so much. Well, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about you and, how you've then come about to developing, the MedFit Network?
Sure. Well, I've been a personal trainer for 21 years. I changed careers in my 30s. I was in the stock market industry for 14 years. And my dad was battling his second cancer. And I had an opportunity to go back to college. And so in my 30s, I went back to UC Irvine, and they had a 2-year fitness instructor program. And what was really cool about it, it was taught at a teaching medical university. So I was immersed with, doctors while learning fitness. And I think that's kind of not a typical way that people in the fitness industry start out at a medical university learning fitness. Yeah. So I went on after I graduated, and I took 20 different specialization courses on Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, Parkinson's, MS, and I became a chronic disease and exercise specialist 17 years ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think one of the first dozen in the United States, because it was considered special populations, and that wasn't like a sexy market to get into in the fitness industry. And I'm out in Newport Beach, California, and I think I was the only one in Orange County that specialized in special populations. And this was before there was an internet or websites, and I built my business just organically, and I filled me up 4 trainers, and I started whole body fitness, and all we focused on was people that had special needs, chronic disease, medical conditions, whatever. The internet came out, and we started getting contacted from all over the United States. Are there trainers like you near us? Is there a fitness facility, near us? My daughter has type 1 diabetes. My mom's a cancer survivor. And I wondered, well, where is everybody at? Are there other facilities out there? I mean, I don't know. Our industry isn't of such that I know Barbara in Washington, D.C., and I know she does diabetes, or Susan in Sacramento. So I was fielding calls for about 5 years. And this is back, 15 years ago, trying to help these people find fitness trainers or clubs in their city that had education on these services. So I saw there was a need. I saw our industry didn't have a directory, and we had no way to communicate any of this. So I'm a problem solver. So I went back to UC Irvine. I met with the business school, and I said, I want to start like an Angie's List of trainers or clubs that have, any education or services for special populations. So I actually met with the students for a semester, and they were graded on creating a business plan for the MedFit Network. So this was very organic, grassroots project. So yeah. So this is all UC Irvine students. Yeah. I went back to them and worked with a bunch of software engineers, and over a 2-year period, they built the MedFit Network website.
Beautiful.
And I worked not just for fitness professionals, but for chiropractors, dietitians, massage therapists, physical therapists, anybody who had any education for Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, or whatever, to join this registry. So when I launched it in 2013, I was trying to figure, I'm still a full-time trainer with 4 trainers working underneath me. I was doing this not to be like, I'm going to make money. I just did it because everyone kept calling me, and I knew we needed to do something like this for our industry. So I'm thinking, how am I going to promote the MedFit Network? So I started to reach out to companies like NASM and Power Systems and Personal Fitness Professional Magazine. And I said, hey, I'm starting the MedFit Network. It's a directory of fitness clubs and fitness professionals. Will you help me get the word out about it? I'll give you a free page advertising. I don't have any traffic yet. And everybody loved the idea because no one in our industry was trying to cover that market or help that market, because they just didn't think it was a moneymaker. Really, people with diabetes or MS or Parkinson's, they want to exercise. Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. So I partnered with about 100 different companies in the fitness industry over 3 years. And they started sending emails out. And within 3 years, we grew the registry to about 30,000 fitness professionals, health Bill McBride got behind this project. It was inviting clubs to join. He was on my advisory board.
Beautiful.
You know, back. Yeah.
He lives about a mile away from me. Yeah.
Anyways, so this is 2016. I was featured in the Huffington Post, Why You Should Know Lisa Doherty in Medical Fitness.
Awesome.
And back then people were like, what's medical fitness? Is it like you're working in a hospital with like drooling people in wheelchairs? No. If you work with someone who's had a joint replaced, you need to know medical fitness. You work with someone who's on multiple medications, you need to know medical stuff. Anybody who's had a surgery at chronic disease, you need to know medical stuff. So medical fitness is knowing medical stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. I've said this a couple of times on previous podcasts, but the industry, it is young, you know, it's not that old. And, you know, I remember in 96 is when I first got certified through NESM when they were based out of Chicago. I've said this before, is, you know, we were bodybuilders. That's what it was back then. And then, you know, corrective exercise started to kick in, and then nutrition started to filter in as the years went on, and then behavior modification. And, you know, obviously no more prevalent time than now to worry about, you know, issues and previous conditions and how to work with those particular things. And, you know, the industry argues, oh, it's out of scope of practice. So, you know, I'd love for you to kind of talk, you know, how is the education that, you know, you're learning, and we're kind of jumping around a little bit because we're talking about the network, which is the group of people to be able to identify. So the external population, or, you know, people looking for trainers that have these different credentials. That's a lot of what I believe you're building a network for, and for doctors in Kairos to identify who knows this information so they feel comfortable, because that's a big thing too. But there's the feel comfortable after diagnosis from a doctor, but then there's also the scope of practice of a trainer, which continues to evolve whether people like it or not. So, you know, I'd love to hear you speak a little bit about what you're hearing from the docs and kind of how you've came to create all these different courses.
Well, I want to say one more cool thing before I switch gears. Yeah. In the spring of 2016, this project was acknowledged by the White House and President Obama as a champion for creating this registry and trying to make exercise is medicine. And when
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm leading up to the education here. So
yeah, no problem.
What happened after that is I got a lot of attention from United Healthcare, Mayo Clinic. They're like, wow, you're starting a registry of fitness professionals and allied healthcare who have education. What a great idea. That's like an amazing thing. We can refer our patients because we know these people have education. And what I learned, Jason, was that there wasn't enough education to create a true network effect among 50 states for fitness professionals. And if there was any education, there was no continued education. All those specialist programs I took 17 years ago, there was no continued education on Parkinson's. There was nothing on cancer. It was a one and done. And our industry allows us to call us that specialist title. As long as we do 20 hours of Con Ed. It could be from anything though. It could be TRX, BOSU, Zumba Gold Water Aerobics, and I can still call myself a cancer exercise specialist because I did 20 hours of Con Ed. And I thought that was wrong.
Yeah.
So I saw, again, there's another need and I'm a problem solver. So 3 years ago, I started the MedFit Education Foundation. It's a separate organization from MedFit Network. It's a nonprofit. And I wanted to facilitate education. So we started with a webinar series. We did 50 free webinars the first year. And it's funny because now that COVID is out, everyone's doing webinars. Yeah. I was doing webinars 3 years ago, a week, and they're free for anybody that's part of this network. So regardless of what education they get on their own, my foundation is going to give them 50 hours of free education on all those topics, including genomics, sleep, gut health, CBD. I don't know about you, but my clients are asking me about all those things. You know, CBD, should I do that? I don't know. Genomics, should I get the DNA tested and you program my workouts around that? I don't know. I need to learn about that stuff.
Yeah.
And so then we started the Medical Fitness Tour. It was a traveling conference. And to me, it was the Avengers of special populations coming to a city near you. And we went from Seattle to Chicago to San Francisco. And for 2 years, we did 8 traveling conferences.
Awesome.
And what was really cool, Jason, is we started to get doctors at these conferences. And here they're sitting at a round table next to a personal trainer because they want to learn about cancer and exercise. They want to learn about genomics. They want to learn about
That's fantastic.
all the things that we're learning about.
Those are the doctors that we want to go see.
Yeah. So me being a personal trainer at my own conference, and I'm sitting next to an internist, a gynecologist, a chiropractor, a massage therapist, and a physical therapist, and a dietitian at my table, and we're all learning about, MS or Parkinson's. I mean, I got goosebumps just talking about it. It was just so cool because it would say, well, where do you live? What do you do? And a lot of the doctors that were showing up at our events were the ones in cash practice. They were leaving medicine because they were tired of seeing 120 patients a week for 10 minutes. And they knew they were just managing disease and they weren't doing healthcare. Yeah. And so this started a lot of conversations the last 2 years at my events. And I started getting doctors that joined the MedFit Network. And that's not why I made this project. Yeah. It was for fitness and healthcare. And so we started getting all these concierge doctors. And then they started to say, well, we want webinars geared towards us. And so I started to make webinars that were geared towards doctors too. What do they want to learn about? Yeah. COVID hit and conferences stopped. And I was really lucky that I received a very large private donation at the beginning of the year, $200,000.
Congratulations.
And I decided that it was very cool. From a couple that are both cancer survivors that have followed my project all this time. And I wanted to create specialty medical fitness programs that would get a title on the MedFit Network. So if you're an Alzheimer's fitness specialist, you get that title on the network. You'd be required to do continuing education on Alzheimer's, not BOSU or TRX. Sorry, you guys. But I mean, if you're going to be an Alzheimer's fitness specialist, you got to stay up on the progression of the disease, pharmaceutical management, studies out there, the benefits of exercise. How do you keep these people so that they don't decline, work with caregivers. So that has to be its own niche. Now the fitness industry won't require this Con Ed, but the MedFit Network will, to stay on it. If we're going to promote to the public that we're a specialist in something, then we need to keep up and be a specialist. Could you imagine if your doctor who's an oncologist didn't do any Con Ed on cancer and they did it on writing for books or, something that wasn't related to cancer? I don't think that's right.
And, something that you bring up, I mean, so many people don't understand. I shouldn't say people, so many trainers as they're coming up through the ranks, they go get their whatever cert, maybe they went to college and hopefully, and they don't understand the power of truly picking a niche market. And they try to work with everybody. They go into a lifetime and they get thrown, all these different clients and that's where they're at right now. But I know I would probably argue the best that I've ever met found a niche and when I say the best, they're the smartest, but they're also, they know how to apply it and they're effective and they're making a lot of money or enough money. It doesn't have to be a lot, enough money for them to live. And, mine was golf and went through muscle activation technique with Greg Roscoff. So it was more the therapeutic side of it. And those two things kind of jived perfectly. And that's how I, started my business and was successful. And I think so many trainers, they don't continue on, they think they've got it after they've gone through their basic cert. And, that it's very similar to doctors. Like they don't learn, they learn what they need to learn once they get into practice, and once they're into their working with alongside doctors and things like that. So it's such a crazy time, especially with the inundation of social media and people just going to Instagram or going to YouTube and following somebody who's got 100,000 followers and doing fitness stuff because they've got a lot of followers. Maybe they're just really good at marketing. So it's, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do these podcasts too, is to bring about some of the people that have had major influence in specialists and specialized in areas to, the masses of trainers, at least at Lifetime or maybe even beyond, as we start to work with organizations like yourself and other ones to really truly bring good quality education so that they could sustain their clients and move forward and get more.
I want to address what you said about niche markets. When someone has a niche market, these days people have multiple things. They're not just someone with diabetes. They also have hypertension. Maybe they've had a knee replacement. So when I look at someone, they're just not one thing. They're not just a cancer survivor. They may have osteoporosis, and they may have hypertension. So I think if you're truly going to help the 50 plus population, well, first of all, 65% of our population has one chronic disease and 50% have two or more. So you need to learn this stuff if you're going to truly help someone. Otherwise, if you don't, you could potentially harm them.
Yeah.
And I think you need to specialize in many things. I did. And you know what? Because I did, I could take anybody that walks in the door and work with them and create a successful progressive fitness program for them. And I think that's what trainers need to focus on, is this is a career, not just a hobby.
Yep.
And you can't just take a $500 certification online and take a multiple choice exam for 100 questions and pay $500 and think that that's going to earn you $65 an hour, 40 hours a week for the rest of your life. There's people that go to college for 4 years and pay $50,000 for the education, and maybe they come out at a job that earns $65 an hour. So I think what our industry needs to become more humble. And just because you get that one initial personal training certification, and I'm sorry that you're worth that, and you know everything. You need to learn more, and you need to invest in your education if you want to be a career.
And it's those, again, it's the people that truly know that this is what they want to do. There's so many dabblers in our industry that let me dabble with this until I find something else, or maybe it'll work. So that's, I think, another part of the problem. The people that really fell in love with it and knew this is what they wanted to do, then they found the way. And the thing I want to follow up on too is when I said niche, I don't mean one thing, meaning there's golf and corrective exercise. So those two things are bigger than one thing, because golfers have multiple issues that go on, and then you work on the corrective side. So it's not like I'm just working on one thing, but it's a group of people that you can market to a little bit better and then get referrals off of, and then expand your horizon. So it's just, one of those things that we don't teach trainers business and understanding the power of those particular things. So a little bit of a tangent, but it was great. So, you said you were a problem solver several times, which is awesome. So I guess, obviously you've come up with this, and we've come to a point now where there's a pretty robust offering and a pretty robust network of people. So can you dive into that a little bit more specifically now?
Sure. Well, I want to address, we're going through COVID, and, after this pandemic, we're still facing a chronic disease, opioid, obesity, and mental health crisis. And right now, I think this is the perfect storm for the fitness industry to pivot in this space, gain education, and be essential and not just recreational. Being part of the MedFit network, I think, lends to your credibility. It also helps you network with other like-minded professionals. I know when I became a trainer 21 years ago, I joined IDEA because I wanted to belong to something. I wanted to belong to a professional organization and be with people. And so because this is a new space, I wanted to create a professional organization where we could all belong together and we could learn from each other and hopefully meet in person one day at an event, because you need to belong to something these days. And so that's why I started the MedFit Network. I wanted an organization that we could all belong to and communicate. Awesome. And I only see that growing. I want it to grow globally. We have members in other countries right now. I don't know how they found out about us, but I want to grow this globally and have a MedFit network around the world. of fitness professionals.
Yep.
And continue to create education and then continued education. As I mentioned, we're creating 17 new medical fitness specialist programs. Well, this opens a whole new educational market for our industry because we're going to need Con Ed for all. And to me, that's such an exciting future, and for us to be part of a respected part of the healthcare team, because we know exercise is medicine, and we know it could help prevent, rehabilitate, slow the progression of, and change people's lives. And, I don't know what the stats URSA was putting out that, 80% of America doesn't exercise or something horrifying like that, Well, we need to change that. And so I see this after COVID being an exciting time because people are realizing that if they don't take care of themselves, they could die. And if it's not COVID, it's going to be the next thing. And so I think this is a huge wake-up call for our nation, and this is the perfect storm for our industry.
So there's other, no, it's fantastic. I know that there's other, the term medical and medical fitness. There's a couple of other organizations out there that use similar terminology. So can you go into a little bit of depth or a lot of bit of depth? We have time. I hate when I say a little bit, but go into depth on just what is it specific to this MedFit network that is unique from everything else that's out there and the education that's provided?
Sure. So Medical Fitness Association, I think Bob Boone founded that around the same time that I did, maybe the year before. Mm-hmm. And their focus is on hospitals, systems, and educating them on how to create a fitness center within a hospital system. And so most of their conferences and education that's generated from them is for the hospital fitness centers and the staff that may already have a medical background, a cardio rehab specialist or something like that. So that's a different type of thing. I created this for the personal trainer and the health clubs and the gyms and the private studios, because there isn't an organization for us. So the Medical Fitness Association, I called this MedFit because I wanted to be more encompassing of all the professions. A chiropractor, a dietitian, a massage therapist. To me, fitness could be anything. Fitness could be, I want to be fit to travel. I got to be fit to be a mom. I got to be fit to teach. So I like MedFit. I thought it was more encompassing, and I thought it was more global because we started getting people in other countries, and I didn't want to say medical fitness because I didn't want to exclude other professions or in countries. I wanted to be more neutral. So that's why it's MedFit Network, MedFit Education Foundation. As far as other medical associations out there, I don't know.
And it's not medical. I don't mean medical associations. There's other certification. I know that there's some other companies out there that are training trainers that have the medical term. So not diving into them, but can you go into depth with regards to the courses and what somebody is going to walk away with and the ability to do once going through, the various different courses? Because you got over 20, right?
Other 17, yeah. So what's different about these? Like ACE has a medical exercise specialist, and unfortunately with that, there's no required Con Ed. So I could, take an exam in 2012 and never read about diabetes or cardiovascular disease, and I could promote myself as a medical exercise specialist.
Yep.
Again, I think that's wrong. So with all these programs, what's different about them is they're all going to have a business component on how do you market yourself, like for the joint replacement specialist. This is a great opportunity for trainers to do prehab before surgery. Sometimes people have to lose weight in order to go under anesthesia. And, strong in, strong out. So if we could start doing prehab and then post-rehab, after physical therapy, I had a gal who had her hip replaced, who was a veterinarian, and she wanted to get back to horseback riding. Well, when she finished physical therapy, she wasn't by any means in shape to get back on her horse. So I helped her after that. So like the joint replacement specialist will show you, well, how do you approach a surgeon and how do you start getting a prehab? Because the faster you can get patients to him, that's how they make money at surgery. And if someone can't go under anesthesia or they're not fit, they don't get to do a surgery. So trust me, would be a valuable offering to them as an example.
Yeah. So what you're saying then is in these courses, each one, there's actually education around how to capitalize on the specialization from a business standpoint. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And so, and just looking at some of the areas and the conditions, you have active aging, Alzheimer's, arthritis, autism, breast cancer, corporate wellness, diabetes, fibromyalgia, healthy aging, heart disease, mental disorders, multiple sclerosis, obesity, osteoporosis, Parkinson's, respiratory, stroke, pre and postnatal. So, just a ton of different areas. Now, is each one of these, when you pay, is it you get all of this, or each one of these are individual courses that you pay individually for?
Well, there's 17. I think you're looking at the list of conditions on the website for consumers. The courses that we're going to be doing are adaptive fitness specialist for people, spinal cord injuries, some fitness. We're going to do an Alzheimer's fitness specialist, arthritis, bariatric medicine fitness specialist, because people, again, go into surgery and partner with a surgeon, cardiac rehab fitness, cognition, type 2, drug and alcohol recovery. And that one's really interesting. I talked to the gal who's doing the course, and she's been open the whole time during COVID because she works with drug and alcohol recovery centers, and she sends trainers out. It's covered under insurance.
Yeah.
Do fitness for these people.
Well, and without diving, I think the next question too I want to dive into is what you've also been able to do through the people that are within the organization have been able to bridge that gap so that they can charge insurance, which is a whole, I mean, that's a game changer when we can globally get to that point. But, how did that happen? How did you get to that, and how were we able to do that?
So one of the specialist programs is a medical fitness practitioner. And that is being created by two gentlemen. And one is David Rochelle. Yep. And he was actually the MedFit Professional of the Year last year.
Nice.
And why he won that award is because he figured out how to do it. So he is one of the co-authors of the course. So trainers that go through this program will be able to get codes to bill insurance, bill telehealth, Medicare. And right now, it's something we all wanted to do, and he figured out how to do it. And so part of this practitioner program, a trainer is going to get full access to all this. That is a true game changer for our industry. So again, with all these courses, we're taking into consideration the new norm of fitness. So, telehealth, house calls, virtual coaching, outdoor programming. Right now, all of the courses in our industry, I think, need to get updated because we need to take into consideration what the new norm of fitness is. Yeah. And telehealth is one for sure. And so anyways, these courses will all have that in there as well. They all include a 1-year free membership to the MedFit Network. So if you're not part of this network and you go through this program, we're going to give you a year free membership. We want you in this directory. We want people to find you. You're going to be required to do Con Ed. So know when you take these specialist programs, you're going to do Con Ed to stay that title. And so I'm really excited that we're going to have this available and the public and the physicians will know that this directory are solid people that have education and continue to do education.
Got it. And so the course that you mentioned is the medical fitness practitioner. That's the one that is going to teach you what you need to know to work with people. And what type of people is it? Is it all the above, or?
It's going to cover generally everything. Probably the major things, cardiovascular, diabetes, kind of like the main things that our populations has. Probably it's not going to cover like autism or prenatal fitness and stuff like that. But just the general, what do you need to do to start being a general practitioner? Just like a doctor is a family physician, and then you go to a specialist for dermatology or whatever. And so this will be like the family practitioner for fitness is the medical fitness practitioner.
Awesome. And how long is that course?
I think it may be getting up to 20 to 25 hours. They're going to finish it in the next few weeks.
Got it.
And, something down the line that I think would be pretty cool. Also, it's going to be taught at colleges next year. We probably have about 100 different colleges in the United States that have approached us that want to start teaching it. They're going to layer it on like a master's or a bachelor's program. And so this will be a career path, a medical fitness practitioner in the future. And we would love Lifetime Fitness to be internship sites for all these colleges.
Yeah.
So I'll let the cat out of the bag. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we've, there's always option. That's obviously, something that we can discuss when we get into further meetings. So, we have a conference coming up, and that's going to be on October 1st through the 4th. And it's the MedFit Global Education and Career Conference, which will be a virtual conference that you guys are throwing. Talk to the group about that and what they can expect from that.
So I'm super excited about this. We're making it short days. I think it's like 9 to 2. So that way,
Pacific time or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we got, I got 4 great, amazing keynotes like Colin Milner, if you know him, and Michael Mantel and so forth. We're going to have all the authors of these courses are going to take a speaking session,
okay,
which I'm excited about, and talk about all these different populations, on here. There'll be networking opportunities every day, so you can meet other fitness professionals or healthcare professionals that are in this space. I think that's important to learn, like, what are you doing? How much do you charge? How do you market, stuff like that. Yeah. We're also going to have one of our partners is Burn Along. I don't know if you're familiar with them, Jason. No. But they are going to do 20 scholarships for trainers to apply for these programs and cover the cost for them, as an example. So when you attend the conference, you could fill out an application, and they're going to pay for 20 trainers to go through one of these specialist programs. What else? We're going to have, when you attend a session, you get points. And if you do so many points, we're going to let you take a course for free. Beautiful. Again, my goal is to educate as many trainers, get them in this network, and serve the public.
Got it. And so I'll put the web link, and then I think you offered also for any of the Lifetime trainers a discount of how much?
$100 off the ticket. The ticket's $197.
Oh wow!
And it'll be $97 for Lifetime Fitness staff and employees for them to attend. If you can't attend live, you can watch it on demand. And I just, these topics are so interesting, and this is all things that you could specialize and reinvent yourself. To me, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. And here we go. And I always want to bring it back to what can I take away and where are we at? The industry is changing. Obviously, clubs are opening back up. I think we have all of our clubs finally opened or about to open, which is fantastic. We've got about, last I heard, about 65, 70% of the memberships back, but trainer wise, it's a different mentality. And when you can dive into and have conversations around the comorbidities that we're talking about, that, if we're really worried about these, it's a game changer on who you're going to be able to speak with and show value for.
Absolutely. And, most of these conditions, this is what the baby boomers are facing. Yep. They're the largest demographic in the United States. They control 3/4 of our wealth. They're going to live longer than past generations, and they want help. And if we can get educated, that's a great market for us to focus on.
Yep, that's fantastic. So again, October 1st through the 4th, I believe you said 9 to 2, and that's Pacific Standard Time. So we'll be able to dive into that. And you also, one other question on some of the virtual conferences, if you pay for it, you said on demand. Is it on demand for a period of time, or how is that working? Do they have a year to watch it? Is it 6 months? Is it a month?
You know what? I think it's like 30 days. We're using Excel Events. It's a new, I think they do it for 30 days. They leave it on the platform.
So if
And that's on the
if they
website.
purchase it for the if they purchase it with, you know, the Lifetime Trainer purchases it with a discount, they don't necessarily have to be there for those 3 or 4 days. They can watch it up to 30 days post at their own leisure and then, you know, go back to it. That's fantastic. That's a nice ad.
But, you know, if they're really interested in any, all the presenters will be there and they could ask questions.
Yep.
And so that would be very valuable to engage some of these people. If you want to learn about joint replacement, for example, I was talking about that. The authors of the course are going to be presenting. So here's your chance to talk to them about it. So
That's
it may be
fantastic.
valuable if somebody that you go to those ones.
Yep. Well, anything else that you wanted to add to the audience, or anything that we didn't discuss that that you have that you want to inform anybody else on?
Well, I think it's obvious I'm very passionate about all this.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we've covered everything, Jason. I think, as I said earlier, this is a time to make lemonade out of lemons. And, you know, we're in this pandemic, but I think this is a great opportunity for the fitness industry for us to come out on the other side and be stronger and better than ever. And that's the message I have everybody take away.
That's fantastic. And just such an amazing problem you're solving, you know, with our industry and in how to work with people and how to join the medical professionals with the fitness side, especially if, you know, bringing in insurance is an absolute game changer for those. So I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. I'll definitely be watching over the weekend, and I look forward to many more conversations into the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Take care, Lisa.